Hello, I'm Michael Coward, Assistant Chief with the Alachua County Fire Rescue. Today I'm joined by Suppression Lieutenant Jake Fall. We're going to be talking about CAAS accreditation and what that means for ACFR. Jake, why don't you go ahead and shed some light on what CAAS stands for and also what that means to us as an agency.
Sure. So CAAS stands for the Commission on Accrediting Ambulance Services. And although the name says ambulance service, really they're looking at us as an ALS service provider. So they're looking at us holistically from the top to the bottom. Our legal structure, our HR department, our hiring practices, how we conduct training, how we conduct field operations, our policies, our medical director. There's even a section in there for the CCC and how we do call taking. And all of that is really compared against the framework that nationally has been recognized as the golden standard for top-tier EMS service.
Okay, so we're not just looking at trying to just meet state level requirements. We're actually comparing ourselves across the nation and what is the golden standard. How many EMS agencies currently carry CAAS accreditation?
Less than 2% of EMS agencies across the nation are accredited. So it would put us at the forefront of cutting-edge EMS agencies.
Excellent. Okay. Well, Alachua County Fire Rescue does want to be the premier EMS agency, not only in the state of Florida, but really in the southeastern United States and abroad. So this will really help to be able to make certain that we are doing those things necessary. Now, the reason why we're going through this process is we want to make certain that we are providing the best level of service to our community. And by doing this and really kind of laying all of our cards out on the table and looking how we do our processes, how we treat our patients, how we hire people, it's really important for us to make certain that we're looking at everything like that. Jake, would you say that we're already doing a pretty good job with some things?
We are. We're doing a great job with a lot of things. Going through the accreditation process and comparing ourselves to the national standard and the national framework, we did find a few areas we can make improvements on, however.
Okay, excellent. Well, good to know that we're already doing a lot of those great things. What would you say is one of the improvements that we're going to try to make?
One of the improvements that we're working on is the security and the temperature control of our medications in the field.
Oh, okay. Well, obviously the ambulances have their patient compartment, which is already temperature controlled. How are we going to accomplish that with our ALS engines?
So for the engines, we have purchased and are installing refrigeration units that will be placed in the ALS compartment. The drugs from the ALS bag will be taken out and placed in there, and it's got a lock on it, so it'll be able to be secured. We are then taking the ALS bag and the airway bag and combining them into a better functioning backpack style that will fit in that compartment appropriately.
Excellent. So, I mean, obviously if CAAS is saying this is something that really needs to be done, what's the purpose behind that? Why do we need to make certain that our medications are temperature controlled?
There's been some studies that have found that once medications have exceeded room temperature or have gotten hot and then come back to room temperature, that a good portion of their efficacy is lost. And ultimately they become less effective.
Okay, so in trying to make certain that we are providing the highest level of service, just having the medications temperature control just seems like a big ask, but something that's really important.
Sure.
Okay, well good. Well, how are we going to know if we do go outside of those temperature ranges?
So we're going to be placing temperature monitoring cards at the various locations throughout the truck that the drugs are in. There's going to be an upper range indicator and a lower range indicator. So we'll just have to check those throughout the day to make sure that an upper limit or a lower limit hasn't been met for temperatures.
Oh wow, so what if that does go beyond those limits?
Unfortunately, we're going to have to be replacing those drugs.
Oh wow, so this is a big step for ACFR and making certain that we are doing everything we can to provide that golden standard. So something definitely is going to make some changes, but I think it's going to be something good for our community. Can you tell us about any other changes that we have that are on the forefront?
So going along with the drug temperature monitoring, there's also a component of drug security that we're going to be implementing. For the engines, it's going to be easy enough. The refrigerator has a built-in lock, so the drugs are going to be secured there. We are going to be adding a measure of tamper evidence to the different locations that the drugs are in, just to show that our drugs have not been tampered with at the time that we administer them.
Now this isn't going to be like a seal for narcotics where we have to have control numbers or anything, right?
No, this isn't inventory control. This is strictly tamper-proof.
Okay, but once it's on there, you know if someone's messed with your medication. Why is that important?
Well, when we administer these medications, we want to make sure that they haven't been tampered with, that somebody hasn't come along and replaced cortisone with normal saline.
Right, okay. Well, that's extremely important for our citizens, so another great step in the right direction. One of the things that I identified going through the process was making certain that we have good customer feedback. And looking back over the last couple of years, we've really only received just a handful of customer feedback cards, and I think it's really important for us to really know not only do we think we're doing well, but how is our customers perceiving our service. So we are really encouraging everyone to have the customer feedback cards placed in their clipboards. Pass them out like candy. We really want some feedback, and we want to make certain that we're capturing all of our audiences, not just people who are extremely happy with our service, but even if someone doesn't have a real high level of what they think, give them a customer feedback card. It's something that we can follow back up on, and maybe be able to make some improvements if that is warranted. So again, one other thing that we're going to do to try to help make certain that we are providing that golden standard for EMS agencies. So when do you think some of this stuff is going to start rolling out?
I think we're going to start seeing some changes in the field probably late February, early March. It's going to be a slow, gradual rollout. We don't want to implement too much at one time, to set ourselves up to fail.
Okay, excellent. So as we start to roll these things out, be looking for policy changes. Some of the policies that we have had to make improvements on are things that we're already really doing. It just doesn't really say that in our policy. So as we start to roll these things out, please, it's really important for us to have our feedback. One of the things I love about CAAS is it helps you to measure things within your own agency. So we're not only just meeting that national golden standard, we're also able to take a look at what we're doing and help to modify that to where it meets those standards without having to just, overturn the apple cart, if you will. So, but it's really important that we get your feedback, because again, the whole reason why we're doing this is to provide a great level of service. If some of the things that we're implementing is not going to do that, we really need you to give that feedback to us to make certain that we're making it fit. So, well, Jake, I appreciate you joining us here today, and please be on the lookout for some of these new exciting changes. Thank you.
Thanks.